Everybody all over the world faces the same exact inevitable problem, the impending doom to our planet caused by us and our ancestors. Climate change affects everybody in different ways, and if you aren't one to be fortunate enough to have funds, you will take a bigger hit, as well as if you are unfortunate enough to find yourself at the hands of a natural disaster. Climate change will affect everything and everyone, including the economy. It will displace many people, which is why we must work with programs to help slow it down long enough to find a permanent solution. First, I will talk about climate change and the economy. Climate change affects all walks of business and industry. All walks. It butterfly effects down the chain and even branches out into different aspects of business and everyday living. Agriculture industry would be hit first. Food becomes increasingly expensive and increasingly fake. There will be a lot more added to foods, which will cause people to become sick and to become poor. And that will be its own vicious cycle. People will be spending more money on food, which increases poverty because of all the fake stuff, all the preservatives that is added into the food because of the scarcity of it. People will be getting more sick, and because they're getting sick, they have to spend money to get well, which brings me to my next point in the same body paragraph. It will take it to the economical side because inflation will increase as more and more money is poured into helping people sustain themselves. On the other side of things, being the ecological side, weather patterns become more extreme and more frequent and stronger. Hurricanes and other storms will also happen a lot more frequent and a lot more intense. As heat rises more than normal in the summer, it will lead to increasing ocean levels, which leads me to my next point. Even now, people are being displaced as a result of natural disasters, mainly because their homes and their cities and their countries are becoming more and more desert like, which does not mean sandy cactus, desert palm, rattlesnake, things like that. Because even Antarctica is considered a desert, which basically means that it is an uninhabitable and barren piece of land. Storms like flood and hurricanes and volcanoes and even extreme temperatures are the result of people being forced to flee their homes, with the other option being death if they decide not to. These are things that are happening now, like the hurricanes in particular, like the one in Texas and close to Florida, which hit home in America, which is basically a wake up call to those ignorant people who are not helping, basically. It is a tragic event that took place, but it is a great example that many people had to evacuate their cities and their homes because of the flooding and because of destruction to come. Many unpredictable and devastating events can come from volcanic eruptions, like great earthquakes, tsunamis, ash rain mixed with the toxic gas, and destruction of nearby cities, and even freezing. Each one that I listed has its own radius and it gets further, bigger and bigger, affecting those around it, around the volcano in many different ways, with the closest being direct destruction for the volcano, everywhere in the middle feeling mighty quakes, and the longest being the distribution of the clouds of ash and the gas. Those that are closest will feel the wrath of the volcano, of the fire, of the lava, of the ashes, of the poisonous gas, of the earthquake. As it goes out, they will feel the earthquake, possible debris being shot out from the volcano, and the gases and the ash as well. And the furthest range will be the everything that is carried by the wind, which actually leads me to the next point in the same paragraph. Scientists have noticed volcanic eruptions to tend to increase as the glaciers melt, stated by Annie Sneed in Get Ready for More Volcanic Eruptions as the Planet Warms. To summarize it, basically, scientists recorded dates. They studied and concluded that more volcanic activity took place when there was less ice caps to be found. As we cause the Earth to grow more and more hot, more as we As we cause the earth to grow more and more hot, we will feel the effects of the consequences of our actions to become even stronger. Even land itself is made more and more difficult to produce crops, even if you have proper irrigation, due to the heat making the soil more of a clay texture and even becoming more acidic because of the quicker evaporation of the water, leaving behind much more sodium, which makes it more difficult to irrigate your plants, which is actually a present day problem here in California. It's sad to say that the damage has already been done and it is irreversible, sorry. We need to come together and act swiftly, or at least preserve the earth for some generations to come. We need to take measures of using more reusable energy so that we don't burn out our planet. Even now, the effects are catastrophic. However, some of us are fortunate enough that they haven't affected us. But even at the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that as people were forced to stay inside, nature and the wildlife started to try to heal itself in the ways that it could. But unfortunately, this didn't last very long. Because we are the way we are, we. It's a terrible statement, but we need to be able to clean up after ourselves and create more environmental friendly items of waste so that way we don't have to throw out waste that will be left out there to decompose for years and years, that will just pile up and cause even either bigger landfills or will cause for us to have to dispose of it in the only way that we can, which would be by burning, which would lead to increasing heat. Even after that, scientists know that this planet has a short time left. This is why space agencies in particular are working double time to try to figure out what they can about space and colonization of other planets. Even Elon Musk himself has long said that humans need to establish a permanent and self-sustaining presence on Mars to ensure the, the continuation of consciousness as we know it, just in case the planet is left uninhabitable by an asteroid or a nuclear war. And now, a nuclear war or an asteroid strike is a quick and rapid death of this planet, but climate change is a slower and more painful death, like a virus, which is bad, but on the good side, it does give us some more time to act upon it. So, in conclusion, this earthly universal problem affects everybody negatively, some more severely than others. As the stewards of this planet, we need to take control of our selfish actions that harm others who cannot do anything about it and who have not done anything to contribute to it. The destruction that we bring to this planet goes far beyond what we believe. It will affect every walk of life, including the economy. It will cause further disorders due to climate migration, which is why we need to take this opportunity to do something about it. If we all come together, we can do something about it to create a clean slate. Thank you for your time.